So, James Gunn has done a whole bunch of tweeting, interviews, conversations, like he always does, about DC and Superman, and also wider stuff as well. But I think it's interesting, so I thought we'd take a look. This article caught my eye, and there's another one which we'll take a look at as well. But this one initially, James Gunn hits back at Snyderverse trolls, addresses the rumour that DCU's future hinges on Superman's success. That's a pretty big claim. It's actually one which I've made. And I don't think that that's a massive stretch, to be honest. I mean, yes, they have already made Supergirl, right? So that's obviously already done, right? They've been filming that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue. All right, that just means that they've made like 2 movies, basically. So let's take a look. So over the weekend, this website spoke about one Snyderverse loyalist's dastardly plan to ruin Superman's opening weekend, which was basically just spoil the movie. And James Gunn responded to that by basically saying, sure, but whatever. Effectively. So DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn has no intention of giving the Snyderverse movement what it wants, and also address the continued backlash from that section of fans in an interview with Rolling Stone. So what did he say? And he said the following. I'm trying to think of how to say this best. I don't mind it. I think it's good. I think you don't want to have everybody root for you. And I have an actor who reads everything online. I won't say who it is, but he'll read this article and he'll know who it is. It's one of the top 5 in Superman. And this actor gets so upset over things that people say. I said, first of all, you realise that the trailer came out and the reaction was 97 to 98% positive. These people help us because you don't want everything to seem 100% positive. It's alright to have an opposing force every once in a while. Some of the things get ridiculous. I just know that every time something comes out, it doesn't matter how positively received, there's going to be something that is of great controversy. It was a great controversy that the sun caused Superman pain. It's like when a doctor resets your bone, you scream, but it doesn't effing matter, because is that really a controversy? Is that really something that you're upset about? Or did you have a hard time finding something to be upset about? That's to do with Superman in the trailer screaming because of the sun. So it continues further. There's always going to be that. There's going to be something that people are upset about. And it's okay. There are people who make their livings by hating us. That's how they make all their money. But you don't have to watch their videos where they're talking about how you're awful. You can't be reading it all the time. It'll effing murder you. It's a terrible thing to do to your soul. And yeah, I mean, I will agree. Constant hatred and constant negativity isn't great. It does bear down on you for sure. I think it's important to not muddy the waters between criticism, which is leveled in a intentionally constructive way, and muddy that and confuse that with mindless hatred. You know, too often as humans do we confuse constructive criticism with negativity. And as a society, I do believe we've sort of allowed the pendulum to swing so far that, you know, effectively most people just cannot take any constructive criticism remotely. You know, you could sit there and say, hey, this movie actually looks okay. Like, I've actually said this movie looks okay a few times now in videos. And yet I would have read this and some people would have said, oh, well, you hate Superman. It's like, but I've literally said the opposite. And this is the thing, because when you begin to constructively criticize things, people can't handle it. And I think that's unfortunate. But anyway, there is some interesting stuff. So it says this, moving away from the Snyderverse for a moment, much has been said that the DCU's future hinges on Superman's success. Whilst projects already in development like Supergirl and Lanterns will come to fruition no matter what happens, we've repeatedly heard that the wider franchise rests on Clark Kent's shoulders. Not so, according to James Gunn, apparently. So he says this, and this I think is somewhat deceptive. So he says, that's not the truth for me. My truth What does this even mean? What a weird... Like, the language choice is very weird. That's not the truth for me. My truth is this is the first movie out of DC Studios. Other people may say, it's got to be a home run, nothing else. I'm like, no, I'd be very happy with a double. Effing Iron Man wasn't the be-all and end-all. It wasn't Avatar. We are doing something that's a piece of the puzzle. It's not the puzzle itself. It's just this one movie. It's not everything. I think what people are referencing is it needs to make money. And I think he's been purposely obstructive there, actually, with his answer. I hate it when there's an effing article and it's going on about all the problems and blah, 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 blah. And that means even more pressure on James Gunn and Superman. I'm like, guys, I'm not responsible for all that. I'm responsible for my piece of the pie. I've got to make my budget back. I'll be very happy with that. Yeah, exactly. That's what people are referencing, James. You know that. Come on. You're being obtuse with this kind of commentary. So elaborating on how DC Studios' approach to filmmaking differs from other studios, Gunn pointed to Sergeant Rock without ever naming the movie. But that's a project that he pulled the plug on, basically. And he says, we just killed a project, Sergeant Rock. Everybody wanted to make the movie. It was greenlit, ready to go. The screenplay wasn't ready. And I couldn't do a movie where the screenplay is not good. And we've been really lucky so far because Supergirl's script was so effing good off the bat. And then Lanterns came in and the script was so effing good. Clayface, same thing. So effing good. Yeah, you see this dialogue, man. Some of it's not great. Some of it's not great. Some of it's interesting. Some of it's not great. And then he also confirmed that Warner Brothers wanted to recast Henry Cavill before he helmed the Suicide Squad. So that's interesting. This is just a side note topic of information here, I think. So, it says this, it's no secret that Warner Brothers offered Gunn a Superman movie before the Suicide Squad, but it wouldn't have been Man of Steel 2 or a movie starring Henry Cavill. There's an excerpt from a recent Entertainment Weekly article. It says this, Warner Brothers initially offered Gunn Superman prior to directing 2021's The Suicide Squad, back in the previous era of DC storytelling. Even then, before plans were firmly in place, the studio wanted a new actor to play Superman after Cavill. So it was even more messy than it is now, Gunn says. But more importantly, he adds, I didn't have that special idea of what that film would be. So that's just that, basically. Didn't really say too much about what his special idea is. I mean, I guess it's the movie. He does say a little bit just about, you know, he's telling a story about a person as opposed to a superhero, I guess. There were some other interesting snippets, but it's more to do with, say, Robert Pattinson and things like that. They're not that interesting, the commentary, I don't think. But, you know, it's still worthy of note real quick. You know, he just says, what Matt's doing is still really important despite all stories to the contrary. We're supposed to see that script shortly and I can't wait. Please have a look at this article. Internet is buzzing with this topic. All of us DC fans want this. I think you do too. And this is to do with the Batman DCU merger, basically. And he's like, yeah, no, that's not happening, effectively. So there you go. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.